Amara's forest, where the lost are found. Deep in the heart of the Amazon rainforest, where the trees stretched endlessly toward the sky and the air hummed with the sounds of life, a young boy named Luca wandered alone. He was only 7 years old, his small frame trembling as he clutched a torn piece of fabric from his shirt. Tears streaked his dirt-smudged face as he called out for his parents, his voice swallowed by the vastness of the jungle. Luca had been on a family expedition with his parents, both biologists studying the rainforest's unique ecosystem. But during a sudden storm, the river they were crossing had swelled, and Luca had been swept away by the raging current. When he finally washed ashore, he was alone, disoriented, and terrified. Days passed as he wandered, surviving on wild berries and rainwater, his hope fading with each passing hour. Meanwhile, deep within the jungle, a woman named Amara moved silently through the undergrowth. She was a mysterious figure, known to the locals as the guardian of the jungle. Amara had lived in the rainforest for as long as anyone could remember, her origins shrouded in myth. Some said she was a spirit, others a healer, but all agreed that she had an uncanny connection to the land and its creatures. She lived in harmony with the jungle, protecting its secrets and its inhabitants. One evening, as the sun dipped below the canopy, Amara heard a faint cry. It was weak and desperate, unlike the calls of the animals she knew so well. Following the sound, she found Luca curled up at the base of a giant kapok tree, shivering and clutching his knees. His eyes widened in fear as he saw her approach, but Amara knelt down slowly, her expression gentle. "Don't be afraid," she said softly, her voice like the rustle of leaves. "I won't hurt you." Luca stared at her, his fear giving way to exhaustion. Amara reached into her satchel and pulled out a small gourd filled with water. She handed it to him, and he drank greedily, his trembling hands spilling some of the liquid. When he finished, she offered him a piece of dried fruit, which he accepted without hesitation. "Where are your parents?" Amara asked, her eyes scanning the boy's torn clothes and bruised skin. Luca shook his head, tears welling up again. "I don't know. The river took me away. I can't find them." Amara nodded, her heart aching for the child. She knew the dangers of the jungle, how easily it could swallow the unprepared. But she also knew its secrets, its hidden paths and safe havens. She made a decision then and there. She would help Luca find his way back to his family. For days, Amara guided Luca through the jungle, teaching him how to navigate the dense foliage and avoid its dangers. She showed him which plants were safe to eat and which to avoid, how to listen for the calls of birds that signaled nearby water, and how to move quietly so as not to disturb the creatures around them. Luca, though still frightened, began to trust her. He marveled at her knowledge, and the way the jungle seemed to respond to her presence. One night, as they sat by a small fire, Luca asked, "Why do you live here all alone?" Amara smiled faintly, her gaze distant. "The jungle is my home. It has given me everything I need, and in return, I protect it. But sometimes, it brings me those who need help, like you." Luca thought about this for a moment. "Do you think we'll find my parents?" Amara placed a hand on his shoulder. "We will try. The jungle is vast, but it is not without mercy." The next morning, as they continued their journey, they heard voices in the distance. Luca's heart leapt as he recognized his parents' calls. He ran toward the sound, Amara following close behind. When he burst into a clearing, he saw his mother and father, their faces etched with worry and relief. They rushed to him, pulling him into a tight embrace.
"Luca."
"We thought we'd lost you forever," his mother cried, tears streaming down her face. His father looked up and saw Amara standing at the edge of the clearing. "Who are you?" he asked, his voice filled with gratitude and awe. Amara stepped forward, her presence calm and steady. "I am a friend of the jungle," she said simply. "It led me to your son." Luca's parents thanked her profusely, but Amara shook her head. "The jungle brought us together. It is not I who deserves thanks, but the land itself." As they prepared to leave, Luca turned to Amara. "Will I ever see you again?" She smiled softly. "The jungle is always with you, Luca. Remember what I taught you, and you will never be truly lost." With that, Amara turned and disappeared into the trees, her form blending seamlessly with the shadows. Luca watched her go, a sense of wonder filling his heart. Though he returned to the world beyond the jungle, he carried its lessons and the memory of the woman who had saved him, with him forever. And in the depths of the rainforest, Amara continued her silent vigil, a guardian of the wild, forever watching over those who wandered into her domain.